What's going on, Dub Nation? You're watching Warriors Today by Chat Sports. My name is Tyler Smith, and on today's show, I've read your comments. You guys say the Warriors need more size at the center position, so that's what we're bringing you today. We have two new trade proposals, not from me, from the media out there, that suggest that the Warriors need to add size at the center spot. We're going to examine two trade targets on today's show. You're not going to want to miss them, but before we do, we're so close. We're fastly approaching 67,000 subscribers here at Warriors Today. We're about 150 away. 66,845. We need 155 to get to 67K. So go on down below and hit that red sub button so you can never miss a moment surrounding your Golden State Warriors, whether it's news, rumors, trades, updates, anything about it, contracts, doesn't matter. We're covering it here at Warriors Today. So go on ahead and hit that sub button. Let's get to 67K. So before we get into the actual trade targets and what's needed to be given up, and we need to examine what the current standing of the Golden State Warriors are in the front court, right? Read your comments. Like I said, they need some more size at that center spot because there's going to be times this season where Draymond Green is running minutes at the 5. And I know, a lot of you guys don't like that. Steve Kerr, you guys are done with the small ball. But that's just going to be the reality of it if Golden State doesn't make a move at the center spot. Jonathan Kuminga, not really super confident in him playing the 4, definitely not the 5, but even the 4 spot with his shorter wingspan, not a great rebounder, so I have reservations there as well. Trayce Jackson-Davis we'll talk about in just a minute, but I'm very high on him. I think he's your center of the future, but can he command 35 minutes per game right now? I'm not so sure. Then you still have Kevon Looney in the mix, who is kind of on the back burner of his career, not necessarily going to be what Golden State needs at this point from a starting center, a guy who's giving you 30-plus minutes a night. And then Kyle Anderson I threw there at the end, mostly for 4-spot minutes. Not going to be relying on him at the 5, but Kyle Anderson, in contrast to Jonathan Kuminga, does have a super long wingspan and can defend multiple spots, get in that passing lane at the 4 spot, and really command the offense from that power forward position as well. And there's one name on this list that we haven't really talked about yet, and it's this guy, the Warriors' second-round draft pick at number 52 overall, Quentin Post out of Boston College. There's been no rumblings on him all summer long pretty much because he's still unsigned. Golden State has yet to sign Quentin Post to a contract, so I can't put him in the rotation yet because he's not on the roster. Now, Golden State still does have 2 non-guaranteed deals that they could waive in order to put Quentin Post on the active roster, but with 14 on the roster right now, they can't add a 15th since they are hard capped at the first tax apron, so somebody's going to have to get cut if Quentin Post is going to be on this active roster for the season. But let's talk about Trayce Jackson-Davis real quick, because the numbers that he flashed in his rookie season were very solid. I mean, he wasn't even playing more than 20 minutes a game on most nights, but still managed 8 points a night, second on the team or third on the team in rebounds at 5, put in a block a game as well, showed that interior defensive prowess, and the field goal percentage. I mean, this guy was as efficient as it gets. Most of his work done around the rim and being that lob threat on good pick and roll opportunities. Trayce Jackson-Davis I am a big fan of, but I do have a couple of reservations about Trayce, right? I'd like him to be the Warriors center of the future. I'd like him to get as much run and as much opportunity as possible right now, but is he ready for that? That's really the question. Are you going to be able to give Trayce Jackson-Davis 35 minutes a night? I don't think so right now. I think you're still going to have to, if Trayce Jackson-Davis is your center 1, there's still going to have to be ample opportunity and ample rotation minutes for Kevon Looney to be stepping in at that 5 spot as well. But like I said, we're going to talk about 2 big trade targets in this video. I would not mind upgrading at center, building that depth, whether it's somebody who's better than Trayce Jackson-Davis or somebody smaller who's not as good as Trayce Jackson-Davis, but in the middle of him and Kevon Looney, just to add more depth and give me a little bit more confidence in the Warriors at the center spot. Give a little more height too. Trayce Jackson-Davis and Kevon Looney neither stand above 6'9". So, what's your take? I want to hear from you guys though. Do the Warriors need to add a center? I've read your comments. A lot of you guys seem to believe that the Warriors need more size at that center spot. So let me know down in the comments section. Type by typing Y for yes or N for no. So the first trade target we're talking about today, we're going with Vooch. Are we trading for Nikola Vucevic? Well, Clutch Points Brett Siegel suggested that Golden State should trade for the Bulls big man. This would be interesting for Golden State. Not exactly the player that has fit the stereotypical style of Warriors basketball that Steve Kerr has run for the past decade, but let's examine the possibility. Here's what Brett Siegel had to say on adding Vucevic to Golden State. He said the best trait Vucevic possesses is his ability to effectively execute pick and pop sets and get wide open looks in the perimeter, where he has shot 34.1% for his career. Next to Curry and Green, Vucevic would see plenty of catch-and-shoot opportunities while also giving the Warriors a much-needed primary rebounder in the front court. So Vucevic is just one of those guys that is going to be a walking double-double, right? You're going to get a ton of boards from him, and it's one of those situations where he doesn't exactly fit the Warriors mold, right? I mean, Nikola Vucevic mostly throughout his career has been a back-to-the-basket player and somebody who isn't necessarily an interior defensive presence or somebody who's swatting a bunch of shots or being super quick laterally to switch on multiple, it's to switch on defense and for multiple positions. That's not really Vucevic's game. And it's funny that Brett Siegel mentioned 34.1% from three for his career. Vucevic was bad from three last season. He shot 29.4% from three-point range in 2023-24. So I have a couple of reservations on his prowess and that being his best trait, that he can generate a ton of pick-and-pop opportunities. I have my reservations on Vuce, but he's still a good rebounder, and that's something that the Warriors really lack at this point. As far as Vucevic's contract goes, it's 2 years. So you're paying this guy $20 million over the next 2 seasons. Now, it's funny because NBA contracts keep going up, but Vucevic's stock has really gone down over the past season or two. And I imagine that after this contract is up, that he will not receive a contract of equal value or more. I think he'll probably get something around $15 million a year because he is also about 33 years old. He's one of those guys who is getting up there in age. And this is a trade you make if you're trying to maximize the last couple of years of Steph Curry's career. But the one knock, like I said, on Vucevic is he doesn't defend a lick. I'm pretty sure I could score on Nikola Vucevic right now. He defends so poorly. He's not quick laterally. If you catch him in a high screen and roll, and you have Vucevic trying to defend the roll man, it's not going to work out too well. He just is too slow to recover, and more often than not, he's just a non-factor on defense. Doesn't even try out there. But again, the positives for Vuce do outweigh the negatives in my opinion. Offensively, he's fantastic. Good catch and shoot player. Great mid-range guy. Really good push shot. If you guys think about Isaiah Hartenstein for the Knicks and how effective he was on those about 8 to 10 foot push shots in the lane there, Vucevic has that in his bag as well, and obviously a very good post player. 4 years ago, he did it. He did shoot 40% from three, and as late as 2022-23, he shot about 35%, which is a little below league average. But that's just kind of a luxury that you're getting with Nikola Vucevic there. Nothing that you're going to be depending on as far as a big-time shooter in that lineup. But he is going to grab boards, and that is what this Golden State team needs. He'll put the ball in the bucket around the rim as well. But in my opinion, Golden State might have to shift their whole play style if they were to acquire Vucevic. They would have to accommodate the type of player that he is. I mean, I'm not so sure that he would be super effective in a constantly moving offense, a motion offense that Steve Kerr runs over the past decade. I'm not so sure that he would be the most effective in that scenario. And I'm not sure that Golden State would be willing to even just switch up their play style to accommodate a guy who, let's be honest, his stock is falling right now, and he doesn't seem to be a focal point of the roster at this point. So I have reservations on Nikola Vucevic being a Golden State Warrior, but there's no doubt that he would be the best center on the roster if they did try to make a trade for him. So what would it take? What does Brett Siegel think that this trade would be? Well, the Golden State Warriors do receive Vucevic, as well as solid 3-and-D player Torrey Craig, who he's 33. He's kind of this guy where you see that the Bulls are receiving Moses Moody, who you can feel comfortable not having to command big minutes to, because that's what Moses Moody is being sacrificed for, right? A logjam on the wing and at the guard position for Golden State. So you kind of free up some stuff by sending Looney away, as well as Gary Payton, so you free up some minutes at the guard position as well, and on the wing for Moses Moody, and you give him an opportunity to go flourish somewhere else. For me, I'd accept this deal. You don't give up any draft capital, and you really clear up some of the log jams that you have on your roster. The issue that Golden State has is that they have too much depth of C+ to B level players that you just don't have enough room to play them all. And Moses Moody was the sacrificial lamb of that last year, and it looks to be that he's going to be the sacrificial lamb of that this season as well. I'd accept this deal. If you would accept this deal, go on down below and hit the thumbs up icon. If we get a couple hundred likes in this video, I'll know that you guys really want Nikola Vucevic on this squad. So go down below and hit that thumbs up, like today's video, if you would accept that deal as well. And next up, we got one more trade proposal. Another big-time trade proposal for a big man for Golden State in the middle. We'll talk about that in the back half of today's show. But before we do, I got to get you guys swagged out with the best merch in the game at chatsports.com/TeamUSA, the official 2024 Olympic gold medal championship t-shirt. You see Steph right there front and center next to LeBron. He carried Team USA to a gold medal in the Paris Olympics. Go get yours today. It's the official one. I'm going to get mine to get to wear here on the show. So go get yours today. Chatsports.com/Team USA to get yours. I'll make it easy for you guys. I'll put that link in the comments and description of today's video for you guys to click on and go get yourself some Team USA merch. So the second trade target for Golden State here, an athletic center, somebody who's vastly different than Nikola Vucevic. We're going Clint Capela here. And shout out to Zach Buckley of Bleacher Report, who proposed a trade that sends Clint Capela to Golden State. Let's hear from Zach Buckley on what he thinks would be the benefit of bringing Capela to the Bay Area. He said dropping Capela into the mix would suddenly give the Dubs legitimate size at 6'10", 240, length and athleticism in the middle. The 30-year-old is a walking double-double who could add both rim protection and reliable close-range finishing. This might not be the kind of star acquisition that Golden State has attempted to make, but it would make for a notable addition. On balance, Capela's clubs have fared 3.4 points better per 100 possessions with him than without over his 10-year career. If nothing else, this would send the clear message to Stephen Curry that the franchise is still trying to construct a contender around him. I mean, if you want a better interior defense, if you're out on Vooch because he can't defend a traffic cone, then go with Clint Capela. This guy is about as good of an interior defender and lob threat as it gets at that age, and the contract that he's on is solid enough. So I'm kind of in on Clint Capela being this transformative defensive center that could really work on this Warriors roster. Clint, he's not going to be a floor spacer for you. He's not going to stretch. He's not going to extend his range. He's not going to be shooting much at all in the jump shot department. But he is, like Zach said, going to provide really good close range finishing. He's, I think, top 5 or maybe even top 3 on most points most points from a teammate of James Harden's. If you think back to his Houston Rocket days, Clint Capela was the ideal lob threat in that era of the NBA. And I still think he could be super effective right now in a Steph Curry pick and roll, or even a Brandon Podziemski pick and roll. I think would even be more effective, as he's probably more of a primary pick and roll ball handler than Stephen Curry is at this point. But Capela, over the last couple of seasons, in the points department, he's not going to really wow you as far as being a scorer, but I mean, look back to 2020, 2021, 15 a night and 14 boards, if 2 blocks on 60% shooting. If Golden State could get that, my goodness, that would be phenomenal. But last season is probably we're going to have to judge him a little bit more on, a little down in the scoring department and in the rebounding department. And Atlanta did add a couple more bodies in the front court to help vulture some of his statistics away. But I'm a fan of Clint Capela and what he provides. He knows his role. He doesn't try to do too much on a team because he knows his limitations. He knows he's a defense first, rebounding first type of player. And when the points come, the points come. He's a cleanup guy, lob threat, getting his stuff easy around the rim. And in contrast to Vucevic again, this is much different because Clint Capela is only on a 1-year deal. Basically $22.5 million this upcoming season. And then next summer, he's an unrestricted free agent. So I'm not sure what he will command in free agency next season, but Golden State would likely have to be wary on making a Clint Capela trade, as he could obviously just leave in 2025 free agency. So what does Bleacher Report think this would take? Well, a little bit more than Nikola Vucevic, but essentially the same deal. Warriors get Clint Capela, and they send out the same 3 players that they sent over for Nikola Vucevic, and they give Atlanta their 2026 second-round pick back. Who cares? Honestly. I mean, that pick doesn't mean anything. So you're basically, at this point, if these 2 trades are presented in front of you, you're just picking which player you like better. And honestly, I'm also accepting this trade. This guy, Clint Capela, is one of those players who's going to transform the Warriors defense on the inside. And he's going to make Warriors fans feel comfortable not having Draymond Green on the floor in many situations, just from a defensive standpoint. And, could be a real good highlight kind of lob player that electrifies an offense in certain points when, he hard rolls to the rim, skies up for a big slam coming from Brandon Podziemski or Steph Curry. I'm in on Clint Capela, but I'm also fairly enough in on Nikola Vucevic. I really can't choose right now, so that's why I'm leaving it up to you guys. Pick one that you would want Golden State to trade for. If it's Nikola Vucevic, give me a Vooch down in the comments, VUC. If it's Clint Capela, type CC. I want to hear from Dub Nation. I think either of these 2 players would be the best center on Golden State's roster and would improve this team for the 2024-25 season. Let me know down in the comments. I'm trying to hear from Dub Nation. And that'll do it for today's Golden State Warriors Today video. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We're trying to get to 67,000 subscribers here at Warriors Today for everything surrounding your Golden State Warriors. News, rumors, updates, trades, does not matter. We're bringing it to you here on the channel. So go down below and hit that sub button for me.